OpenSearch Software Foundation just hit the 1 year mark under the Linux Foundation. Talk about some of the major milestones you are most excited about.
Thanks for asking. Yes, I've been thrilled since, when we set out a year ago and OpenSearch transitioned to the Linux Foundation, we hoped that moving it into this neutral governance would make it easier for many more contributors to actively participate in the project. And that's exactly what's happened. We've seen a very large growth in contributions and from both big and small companies, and really excited to see the OpenSearch community expand the way it has.
That's what I expected when we move things under an open neutral umbrella like Linux Foundation. Now, with this 3.2 release, you folks have introduced experimental agentic AI capabilities, including agentic search and agentic memory. Can you explain what these capabilities bring to the platform?
Yes, I'm really excited. If you think about like agentic memory, this can greatly enhance the quality of experience with agents as well as simplify a platform, because by being able to not just store context, but also learn from that context within OpenSearch, it really reduces the complexity. I don't have to go build a whole nother application that's managing the memory and managing these sessions and the conversations. It's all right there. So when the agent's interacting, it's not having to page in and out a lot of data. It's not having, I don't have to have a separate backend that's doing the memory. I can just store it alongside the rest of the search infrastructure to make it both simple and powerful for end users that are building these types of experiences for their customers.
What else is exciting from your perspective?
I'm really excited to see us be able to mature the pipe processing language, which is a language that's particularly useful when you're doing like observability or security analytics, where you're doing iterative discovery of data. So as a human, and I'm trying to interact with my data and discover my data, the pipe processing language is really intuitive because I can progressively learn more about my data by extending my query with the pipes. That pipe processing language is something that I believe we started developing back around 2020. I should probably check the date before I quote the date. But in the last year, we've really seen a lot of evolution in that. We added Apache Calcite as a query planner, which has now enabled us to really expand that syntax to be able to support much more complex joins, much more complex operators, to make that language something that I think is a really rich experience for people that are working with using OpenSearch to learn about and discover what's happening inside large data sets. By the end of the year, I think we'll see PPL be as powerful as any type of similar language out there.
Now let's talk about some of the pain points that teams face. How do these new features change the way enterprises can approach search, observability, and analytics, which they could not have done earlier?
Yeah, I think the world is, there's just get more and more data. And that's true for both search, that's true for unstructured data, but it's also true for analytical use cases, like you mentioned, observability and security. Just the amount of data is growing, and that this data has value hidden in it. But one of the challenges we face is in order to get like real-time, rich analytical access to this data, it can be really expensive. And so, because I'm loading all of this into an engine that's processing these queries. So, one of the things we've really been focused on is like, how do we scale this system, both performance and cost, to meet the needs of the world as these systems grow. And so was really impressed with both what we've done in the 2.x branch and where we're going with the 3.x branch to really bend the curve and radically improve the efficiency of the engine, so that you can handle thousands of queries per second and support in consumer facing applications, which may be very demanding for the number of the searches that they want and the latency that they need those searches performed at to provide a great experience for their end users. So focusing on performance, focusing on cost and efficiency, like no data engine went wrong if it ever made things faster or cheaper. So really excited to see that. We achieved almost a 10x improvement over the 2x, the 2.x releases of OpenSearch when you look across the aggregate benchmarks that we release. And I think the team's really just getting started.